Hello and welcome. My name's Hannah and I'm the C5 Nut. Well, today is a very special episode. We are going to do a little short video on one of my friend's motorhome. Now, this video more or less benefits for him because he doesn't, he keeps forgetting. So for him to watch this video on how to use his motorhome, this is what it's about basically. So as you can see, I'll flip the camera around. So is the motorhome in question. It's a Heimer Starline. It's quite an old van, probably about 90s sort of era.
98.
98 is it? Say hi, Nigel.
Hello.
Right, this is my good old friend. He's well known in the Citroen community. I've done a bit of work to this one. Gave it a bit of a quick service because he wants to use it on his holidays. Now, how long have you had this van for?
3 or 4 years.
About 3 or 4 years, and still hasn't got to grips on how to use it. So today I'm going to show him how to use his motorhome. So right, first things first, mate, let's switch on the gas.
Switch on the gas.
So what we do, because this van's got two bottles, it's got an underslung bottle and a normal bottle. Let's use the underslung one first.
So I'm going to go and turn this on now.
Yep, so let's go around. So normally you will remove this cover, which we've already done.
Yeah.
And that's the main on and off switch.
So I'm now turning that on.
Yep, so you turn it anti-clockwise, which then switches it on. And then to obviously close it, you turn it the clockwise.
Yep.
Now on here is your gauge.
Uh-huh.
So if I just get closer in there, where this bolt is, so the top left bolt,
Yes.
roughly that's the empty mark.
Oh, right.
And it goes anti-clockwise.
Gotcha.
So when the tank's actually full, the needle will be up to where this small screw is on the top.
Okay.
So at the moment it's around about 60%.
Okay.
So it's got 60% gas in that tank. So once we switched it on, we then need to go round to the other side to make sure that...
Oh, it's this big fat bottle here.
Yeah, that big fat bottle
Okay.
under there, that's the gas tank.
I think that needs painting.
Yeah, it is called an underslung gas tank. They should be tested sort of every 15 years or so. I would probably recommend at some point you need to get it tested.
Okay.
This little red thing here is the gas regulator.
Yes.
That should be changed every every 10 years. I will get you a proper one for it. This is just on the borderline of needed changing.
Okay.
So I'll let it go for a couple of months, and next time obviously when I see you I'll come up and change that for you.
Right.
Right, so if we then go round to the other side. Now this is the secondary gas cupboard, so you can either use the underslung gas tank or you can use this one. Now with the way how this is set up, I'm not happy about it because obviously you've got a split join there, but that's something for us to look in for probably the future of getting all these changed.
Yes.
For solid pipe. Now at the moment we want to make sure that this gas tap on the top,
Yes.
it's either gas bottle or gas tank.
Yes.
So we want to make sure it's switched to gas tank, which it is.
Yes.
And now what we need to do,
Do we make sure this one's off?
yeah, make sure this one's off just to be on the safe side.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
And obviously make sure that's screwed onto the bottle.
Yes.
Because we can't say for certain if this valve is leaking.
Oh, I see.
If it was to leak, it will backfeed through this pipe to this cylinder, and obviously if that regulator was off, then it will have the potential to leak gas back out.
Okay.
Because it's connected to a gas bottle and it's switched off, that won't be the case, so it's fine. So once we now switch the gas on, we need to make sure that there's no air in the system.
Yes.
So what you want to do first is go to your hobs.
Yes.
So let's get into the van and do your hobs.
Okay.
Mind the mess because we've been working around here and obviously it's been quite windy. So what you want to do now is pick any knob you want.
Yeah.
Turn that round and then flick the button.
Oh, that works.
Yeah, you will get that. It is quite high, but as you can see it's now disappeared, so you have to just keep holding that button and just keep hitting that button until it lifts back up.
That's because there was air in the system.
Yeah, it was air in the system. and then just hold it down just for a couple of seconds. Not entirely sure if you can see that. You can actually see there's a bit of a flame. Give it approximately about 30 seconds to a minute or so just to make 100% sure that there is no more air in the system, which, you know, it must be that point by now, so we can now switch that off.
Okay.
So the reason why I say go to the hobs first is one, it's easy to light, and two, the fridge takes less gas than these. This is the most draw power of them all.
Yeah.
So the hobs take a lot more gas than the others.
I must say, I've always found this a bit confusing here, but clearly...
Yeah, that's the gas taps.
That's the saucepan one.
Yeah.
So obviously that is on.
Yeah,
that just works.
Yeah, so that's on, and if it's sort of left to right, that's off.
Right, okay.
So you want to make sure that is obviously on.
Good.
That's Funny Star Snowflake is the fridge. And this one here that looks like a Hoover is actually the boiler.
Gotcha.
Alright, so that's just underneath that cupboard there.
Yep.
Right, now what you want to do is go to your fridge. Now this is quite an old style fridge. It says Heimer on it, but it's actually Electrolux.
Yes.
Now on this one it's called a three-way fridge because you've got your red switch on the bottom here which does your 12 volt. So when the engine's running, the power from the engine will make the fridge work on 12 volts.
But only when the engine's running?
Only when the engine's running. So when the engine's running, that red light will light up.
Yes.
But in all fairness, you can just leave that switched on.
Okay.
The green light does your mains.
Yeah.
So we actually plugged into mains at the moment.
Oh, so that comes on.
It's lit up.
Yep.
And that gauge
is
the mains regulator. So when it gets to, it's called a rheostat. So when it gets to a certain temperature, it will then switch off. But
so that's not the coldness of the fridge.
Yeah, it is. It's a rheostat. So if you set it to 2, it'll only be sort of slightly cold. If you whack it onto number 7, it'd be like really freezing.
Okay, and there's the arrow there.
Yeah, so that's the arrow there. We just set it to 2. Now this little switch here, there's a little fan behind the behind the fridge. It's just to help circulation. I don't recommend using that in the UK because there's no need for it. It's only for places like Spain and things like that. Somewhere it's really hot, you need the airflow to go through.
It clears the air.
Yeah, it just helps. It just helps circulate. It draws the cold air from the bottom of the vent and takes it out through the top. So all that does is just switches on a fan.
Okay.
But not necessarily. Now on the other side, you got 2 knobs and a switch. Now the one on the right hand side, so the rightest knob, that is another rheostat for the gas side of things.
Right. Okay.
It's basically similar to your electric one, but it does the gas. This one here, the one on the left, that's your gas on and off switch.
Yes.
So it's either on or off. Now on the side here, you got the yellow light. So I flick that, and as you can see, it's flickering.
And we can hear the igniter.
Yeah, you can hear the igniter. Now, the reason why it's flickering is it's trying to light the gas.
Yeah.
But because we haven't switched the gas on, you're always going to get that flickering.
Okay.
So what you do is you push down in that and then turn it anti-clockwise by 90 degrees. Give it a couple of seconds, and as you can see,
it's gone out.
Yeah, give it a few more seconds, and then you can let go of that.
So that's now lit?
That's now lit. So if I was to then switch the gas off...
Yeah. Oh, it comes back on again. It comes
back on again. Now, the reason why you have to push this knob in is that for if the flame ever goes out and it's unable to light back up again, there's a thermal couple in there and it will shut the gas off.
Okay.
All right, so what we do is hold down that and then twist it 90 degrees. The flickering's now gone out, and you can leave it like that. Now, you could, if you're really anal about it, switch that orange light off. Switch it off.
Yeah.
But I reckon just leave it on.
Okay.
There's no harm in that unless you're going to travel somewhere and then obviously switch it off because you don't want it to keep igniting.
No.
But yeah, so that's the fridge working. Oh, you're right there.
Nearly fell out.
Nearly fell out. Right. Okay, so normally there's this wooden panel here that sits across the boiler.
Okay.
Now, the boiler will do two things. It's a combi boiler, so you can actually run these boilers without water in it. So you can have heating with no water, or you can have water only, or you can have both.
Yes.
Now, what I want to do is go through the basics with the control panel first,
Right.
before we actually talk about the water side of things. Okay. So I'll just move that panel out of the way.
Yeah, this thing is a monster.
Oh, yeah.
I call it the trauma.
The
switch.
trauma.
Yeah, I know it's trauma, but I call it the trauma switch because it's always caused me grief.
Right. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, let me see if my phone will allow me to switch it on. Yes, it does. Right, instead of me using a torch. Right, now there's quite a few switches on here. There's this one that does hot water, so you've got 60 degrees or 40 degrees. I set it to 60, there's no harm in leaving it there. This one here, if you pull it down, it will do water only.
Gotcha.
If you flip it up, it will do hot water and
heating.
the boiler.
I see.
And this round knob here is purely for is the thermostat temperature. So
for the interior of the
exactly. So if you want 15 degrees in the van, you set it to 15 degrees. If you want 25, you just turn the knob until it says 25, and then the boiler will reach up to that temperature and then cut off.
Fantastic.
And then it will boot back up again.
Yep.
Right, now before we actually touch those switches, because we're going to have this thing on hot water, let's open this up again. Lovely, I'll just knock something down. Right, now there's this funny black thing just down here.
Yeah.
It's called a frost protection valve.
Okay.
Now, if you were to push it down,
yeah,
that will open the valve, and now the water's now draining out the boiler.
Okay.
So on a cold day, this valve will automatically move down.
Okay.
So what you would have
it automatically does it?
Yeah, when it gets to a certain temperature, it will open up.
So I don't have to remember.
No, and also it is electronically controlled as well. So while the control panel is switched on, this will then work. But in order for it to work, you have to lift that red plunger up.
Right.
So if you were to switch the control panel off, that will naturally open the valve.
Okay.
Okay.
Does it?
Yeah,
it flops down.
It flops down on its own. So it does two things. One is, as long as you've got the control panel switched on, and you lifted up this plunger, it will stay shut.
That's the 12-volt controller.
Yeah, that's the 12-volt controller. But as soon as you switch off the controller, that red knob goes back in, which means it will start draining the water out the boiler.
Right.
Also, if your control panel is switched on and it goes down past a certain degree, I think it's around about 3 degrees that the valve opens, then these will automatically trip and drain the boiler out.
Oh, good. Okay.
Now, the reason why they have those switches on is these boilers are very expensive. A brand new one of these, you're looking about 200. Oh, let me get this right. £2,500 to £3,000, depending on the size of the heater.
There's another trauma.
Oh yes. So we want to look after these little heaters. This one's actually a 96 year, so it's 1996. So that, the heater's actually done quite well for itself. Truma are well-known make in the motorhome world, along with Audi. Not the car make. Audi systems are basically like a house. They're all water filled and use radiators and stuff like that. Okay. They're meant to be more energy efficient, but I think they're just a waste of money and a waste of time, really, because with a Truma, you can actually warm up a van a lot quicker compared with using an Audi heating system. So that's one. Now, you see
that tap down there?
That tap down there, that one there, that's also your drain. So when comes winter time, you want to open that valve, and then open all the taps to make sure there's no water.
Oh, right, okay.
All right, so we know that valve's closed. We've now lifted up this thing.
Yes.
So now what we want to do is run the water through the taps.
Okay. Don't lose your drill.
No, I won't lose my drill.
Okay, we're in the bathroom. Light switch is down here. As you can see, needs a bit of cleaning.
Yeah, needs new lights as well.
That's it.
That's awfully dim.
Oh.
Right.
Nigel, nice but dim. I can hear the pump.
Yeah, and
There's a little bit of water.
It will cough and splutter a little bit. Normally you just wait for about 2 to 3 minutes and get all the air out.
Oh,
as you can see, it's spitting a little bit. That's normal. You just want it so it's continuous flow.
Yep.
That you want to move the tap from cold to hot.
Well, it's already pretty hot, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what you want to do is move the tap so it's cold. Make sure there is no air in the system, which it's absolutely fine.
That's now icy cold. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So if you want to switch that off,
Yeah.
we will then normally go and do the same with the kitchen, but we've already done that side of things.
Yeah.
So once you've actually bled the system with the water, so the boiler's now got water in it.
Yes.
What we want to do is now switch it on.
Okay.
Right. So back to our control panel. Don't worry about this switch. We can leave that on
60.
On 60. And because we want water only, this end switch, we want to move it down.
Yep.
Now you got a little green light in there. Actually,
Well, this one.
yeah, you got a green light there to say you want water.
There's one in the thermostat.
Yeah, there's one in the thermostat as well, which is okay. And yeah, it will just. You got to leave it for about half an hour or so for the water to boil up. But because it's already hot, the green light's actually gone out to say that it's reached that temperature.
Fine.
If you get a little red light, which is on the top there,
Yes.
that means that the boiler hasn't booted up correctly.
Okay.
And the trick to resetting that is switch it off, give it 2-3 seconds, and then switch it back on again.
Okay.
Then that will then clear the fault.
Okay. Now, if I want heating and hot water,
Yeah. Then all you got to do is move it from the bottom switch to the top switch.
and we should hear. I can hear the boiler doing things.
Yeah, it will boot itself up. Let's just turn the thermostat up a bit higher.
And it's a warm air system.
Yes.
Oh, there she blows.
Yeah, you get that sort of a bit of a that humming noise, that sort of popping. Let's see if we can get it on the video.
From memory, that settles down after a while once everything's warmed up.
Yeah, the reason why you're getting that noise is because the outside vent is broken. It's allowed water to get into the actual flue.
Okay.
But as the boiler boots up, it will naturally then dry out that pipe.
Yeah.
So for the first couple of minutes, you will get that sort of banging, popping noise. But don't worry, if the boiler hasn't booted up, it will bring up that red light to say it's got a fault.
Okay.
And
we'll leave that on for a little while.
Yeah. You will get a bit of a whirly noise because obviously we're aware that the circulation fan is unbalanced and sometimes it vibrates up against the casing. There's nothing to really worry about right now. If you can bear the noise, perfect. If not, then we're looking at a new fan.
Okay.
Regards to prices and stuff like that, I haven't got a clue, or I need to take the serial number off and see if we can still get these parts. I would imagine we can still get these. But if we jump out the van, let's show you about the vent cover. Right, so as you can see, the vent cover's here. Now you don't normally have this big open hole like that.
No.
It's normally a bit of it's normally shield.
Somebody's cut something off here, no?
Yeah, it's not going to be like that.
No.
But also when you do wash the van, try not to let all the water get down in through this pipe.
Okay.
I do recommend like sticking a piece of metal or something over it. We did have a few brand spanking new vans last year that had water going in through.
Really?
Yeah, brand spanking new ones. And the cure for that was to stick some stainless steel over the top.
Okay.
Which I can get made for you, no problem at all. And that will stop any water getting in through the boiler.
Now we're running off the underslung tank.
Yes, we're now running off that tank.
Okay, that's brilliant.
So obviously, if you wanted to use the other tank, what we'd have to do, obviously, is switched off that main tank. So you turn the isolator valve,
Yeah.
turn that valve to the other way it says gas bottle, and then turn it on down at the bottle, and then it'd be running off that.
Yep. Tickety boo.
Is that what you call it? Tickety boo, is it?
Tickety boo.
Tickety boo. Right. Okay, dokie. Is there any other questions you would like to know?
No.
That's it.
Yeah.
So we know.
We'll talk about locks in a minute.
Yeah, that's no problem. So we know how to fill it up with water. We know how to bleed it. We know how to switch the gas on.
Yeah.
And to make the fridge work as well. So really, apart from the odd loving bit of care and whatnot, yeah, I think she's ready to go.
And I'm going to be a YouTube star. Hey Rob Moss, look at the uniform, look at the boiler suit.
What he thinks, but he's a nutcase. He's a nutcase. Anyway, what happened to your Citroen thing? You know, you're meant to be part of the Citroen world, and you're wearing Rolls Royce.
Well, yeah, I've just gone up market.
I've
gone up market.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, but just remember, some Rolls Royces have Citroen self-leveling suspension at the rear.
True, but yeah, I don't like Rolls Royce. Anyway, if you like the video so far, please give us a thumbs up. I know this is only purely a little video for Nigel, because it has a habit of forgetting. No doubt I'll still get a phone call in a couple of weeks' time saying, how do you switch the fridge on? Yeah, go and have a look on my channel. You'll find it there. Right. Well, guys, take it easy. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And I've got another video coming up in the next couple of days' time. It's Robert's wedding. Right. Catch you later.